I'm Paloma Proudfoot. I'm an artist, I'm a sculptor. I work mainly in ceramics, but in a combination with different materials, particularly with textiles. And I also work in performance, often in collaboration with other artists. The Arts Council collection acquired my work, the Mannequins Reply, a large ceramic and mixed media relief. My influences shift all the time, and I'll have a kind of specific body of research that I'm looking at. But the things that I tend to come back to over and over again are things relating to clothes, both the process of their making, pattern cutting, but also what we communicate through clothes and our bodies, and how that also kind of connects to a different medical language of the body as well, and maybe some parallels between the dissection or opening up of a body, and also with pattern cutting, how the body is kind of broken down into parts to be rebuilt as a new exterior. And I find that kind of metamorphic potential really exciting, and ceramics kind of sharing that as the perfect medium to express those ideas. The immediacy of clay is really what drew me to it, which is maybe quite ironic because there's quite a long process that's involved in it, but really when you get out a lump of clay it can be so many things, and that sort of transformative potential. It can mimic so many different types of textures, so it's almost like a million materials in one, and I think that's what keeps me kind of addicted to it. It's kind of metamorphosis, and also it's unruliness as well. It doesn't really follow the patterns that you think it will, and every time it's unique, which can be quite frustrating, but it's also the thing that's addictive about it. I always think of it like developing film or something. There's a surprise when it comes out of the kiln, and all of the happy accidents and the kind of high that comes from that is what keeps me going, even when it's the most annoying material at the same time. The Mannequins Reply was a commissioned work for an exhibition called Unruly Bodies, and when I was first told about the title and the ideas around the show, I immediately thought of this collection of photographs that I've just been kind of amassing over a few years of mannequins that have been in some way repurposed or kind of fixed in a DIY way that really disrupts their normal sort of immaculate finish. And I was kind of thinking about the mannequins being a symbol of compliance, and ordinarily that they'll just accept any clothes or positions that they're put into. But these collections of photographs of mannequins that had been sort of repurposed in some way kind of disrupted that, and instead of just falling into the background and being kind of unseen almost, they became the prominent voice, or it was as though they were kind of speaking up against the prison, as it were, that they were put in. And I was using those photographs as a starting point to then think about making this scene where these unruly mannequins were interacting with each other, and in some ways mending each other, or kind of making it worse for each other. There was a kind of tension between caring and sinister that I wanted to reach in the relationships between the figures. I think I'm interested in mannequins because they kind of cross two realms of interest for me that, as I was saying, like I kind of keep returning to both anatomy and fashion, and they've been, these sort of figures or representations have been used in both fields, and so for me it's kind of always a rich field of inspiration. I'm kind of reimagining how these very gendered representations throughout history, even in medical spheres, or particularly in medical spheres, the way that women's anatomical bodies are shown, they're still not free from the expectations of looking beautiful or perfectly coiffed hair. And so it's a way of revisiting those histories and reimagining an alternative as well.